Yo, what's good? This is Bens Farel with Thinking Out Loud. Oh, there's another story, but this one is real sad. An off-duty officer, Chicago police officer named Ariana or Arena Preston, killed right in front of her house. One of Chicago's bravest was killed right in front of her own home. Police responded to her 81st in Blackstone in Avalon Park after multiple gunshots were heard. Off-duty Chicago police officer Arena Preston, 24-year-old, was found laying in front of her yard. Sources say her service weapon was stolen. So sad. You know, it just goes on and on and on. Like I told you. Chicago police aren't releasing a lot of specifics about this case. Mayor Lightfoot says the family has asked for privacy. Detectives are working to learn if the victim was targeted or perhaps a victim of a robbery. Loved ones are grief-stricken after learning the news outside of UFC hospital. The officer picked her up An officer picked her up, put her in the back of his car, and immediately brought her to the UFC hospital where she succumbed to her injuries early this morning, said interim police superintendent Eric Carter. Carter says Preston has just finished her work shift. Preston worked for the department for 3 years. Loyola University confirms she was on track to graduate May 13th, which is this week, with a master's on jurisprudence from the School of Law. Mayor Lori Lightfoot spoke with family members earlier in the day and says their life has been shattered. When I got the call this morning, I wasn't just a mayor, I was a mom thinking about what the parents of this young officer are feeling today. Lightfoot stated. Dozens of Chicago police joined a processional as Preston's body was taken from UFC to the medical examiner's office. Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson, in a statement, said, "I am outraged and devastated by this horrific violence against a public servant and will do everything to support the family and CPD during this traumatic time," said Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson in a statement. See, this is another tragedy, another tragedy. I did this on the Spotify. You see what I'm saying? I had to do it. I had to do this on the Spotify,
Connect with
and I had to do this on the Spotify just to let you know that look where this country has gotten to. Our country is in a war zone.
The 24-year-old female officer had just left work when she was shot to death early this morning in the Avalon Park neighborhood. Fox 32's Nate Rogers has been following this tragic story all day. It is here with the latest. Nate?
A devastating, heartbreaking tragedy indeed. Right now, Mayor Lightfoot says the family is requesting privacy at this time. Chicago police not releasing a lot of details or specifics just yet. We do know that detectives are working to learn if the victim was targeted or if this was a random robbery. Loved ones grief-stricken and heartbroken outside UFC hospital. One of Chicago's bravest killed right in front of her own home.
81st in Blackstone, we got a person shot. It's an off-duty PO. Get an ambulance here now.
Police responded to a shot spotter alert. Multiple gunshots were heard. 24-year-old Ariana Preston was found laying in the front yard. Sources say her service weapon and badge were missing.
The officer picked our officer up, put him in the back of a squad car, and immediately brought to University of Chicago Hospital, where she succumbed to her wounds early this morning.
It happened here at 81st and Blackstone just before 1:45 a.m. Interim Police Superintendent Eric Carter says Preston had just finished her work shift.
Right now, we ask that you keep the officer and her family in your prayers.
Preston worked for the department for 3 years. Loyola University confirming she was on track to graduate May 13th with a master's of jurisprudence from the School of Law. Mayor Lightfoot speaking with family members earlier in the day, saying their lives are shattered.
When I got the call this morning, I wasn't just a mayor. I was a mom. and thinking about what the parents of this young officer would be feeling today.
Dozens of Chicago police joined the processional as Preston's body was taken from UFC to the medical examiner's office. Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson in a statement saying he's, quote, outraged and devastated by this horrific violence against a public servant and will do everything to support the family and CPD during this traumatic time. And Preston was assigned here to CPD's 5th district, described by many of her colleagues as well liked. Chicago police telling us no suspects are in custody at this time. In Pullman, I'm Nate Rogers, Fox 32.
Yeah, sad story. Like I said, is horrific. Our country has gone to a very bad stage. It's spiraling out of control. We as a nation has reached a devastating point where if we do not unite and stand against this, not just alone, like oppression alone, or this society driven by big corporate and big tech and the NRA and these Republicans and Democrats alike, uh, causing issues within the community to do these dangerous and disgusting act. Like, I don't know if she was targeted. I don't know if this was just a simple robbery. It doesn't really even matter. This is gonna cause uh this is gonna cause a series of events. I promise you, this is what I also said on Spotify. These are gonna cause events just like I even explained when the YSL case was started and when they apprehended all of the YSL members and stuff. Before all of that happened, a young police officer in Atlanta, Georgia, was killed. That's when the DA and the prosecutors, all the police, all the investigators, all of that went into a all action, all out war with the streets, and that's why the YSL members were all like, you know, they engaged them, not just the YSL, other gang members too. So this is the same thing that's about to happen in Chicago. There will be some RICO, um, they're gonna put out some RICO cases on a lot of people out there because now it's gonna be a war again. You see what I'm saying? So this country needs to do something. You see what I'm saying? It needs to do something, or it's just gonna go down the drain. It looks like we are going down the drain. You know what I'm saying? Like years back ago, we never had stories like this hitting the news. We never had nothing like this happen. This is all brand new stuff. You see what I'm saying? So, people, what we're gonna have to do? The education system is definitely fucked. Don't act like it's not, because why would an individual just run up on somebody and kill them? And then her service weapon was missing. So they shot her and took a service weapon. Twisted, sickening. You see what I'm saying? What you gonna do now? What we gonna do now? You know? I'm just thinking out loud. This is Bens Farel. Holla at me. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit me up on Instagram. Box Benji TikTok. BOXBENJI is right here. So, stay aware of your surroundings, and I don't know how I can stress this enough, but make sure that you register to vote, especially the black community and our black men. I know you was not adamant to vote, but this time you're going to have to vote. You're going to have to get involved because we are spiraling out of control as a nation. Peace.